Alright, let's talk business. Well, okay, not business, but let's talk about who should win Drag Race Philippines Slaysian Royale. I think the winner is obvious, but I would not put it past Drag Race Philippines to not crown an obvious winner in the first season of a franchise. In general, the members of the channel would have seen this video before the rest of you. However, there have been some big life changes happening, and I did not have the time to make this video earlier, so this is going to have to go straight to everyone. However, the members do have exclusive reviews of Slaysian Royale episodes to watch, and every other video has been a member's first experience. In the meantime, if you want to support the channel but cannot become a member, which is totally okay, you can simply like this video, comment who you think should win this season, and make sure you're subscribed. If you've been following my videos, you know that we look at 3 different criteria when assessing who should win, or who should have won a season. First, we look at who had the best track record by the end of the season. The queens earn points each episode based on their placements in the episode. Slaysian Royale threw in a twist where they, kind of like All Stars 10, decided to change the format. But luckily, the placements given are easily adaptable to the format you see on the screen, so in order for us to not lose our minds with percentages, averages, and weighted averages, we're just gonna keep the format the same for all episodes. The next criteria asks of the queens to be consistently good throughout the season. It's possible for a queen to win the first category just by edging out a season-long frontrunner by the end. But we've seen with many winners that it is this consistency and persistence in the viewer's eye that helps them get the crown in the end. Lastly, since we are talking about a TV show, the winner has to have a storyline, so the winner of the third criteria has to have had the best story in the season. Since we are talking about Drag Race in the era of constant twists, the winner also needs to beat the twist of the season, take advantage of it, or completely avoid it. Let's talk about this criteria first, since it doesn't help us much in the decision making. The twist of the season was the lip sync lollap whatever, guys retired the challenge, and the golden egg. Out of the top 4, which consists of Arizona Brandy, Brigiding, Suki Doll, and Viñas Deluxe, none of them were screwed over by the twist. Arizona, Brigiding, and Suki were the top 3 in that episode, and V was given the golden egg, so they all passed this added criteria. We could say that Brigiding and V have a slight edge over the other 2, since Brigiding won that episode, and V quite literally received the object that represented the episode's twist. Therefore, we move on to the first official criteria, which asks who had the best track record. This top 4 really is the top 4 of the season, statistically speaking, but also at least one of the top 4 was in the top 2 of an episode in 7 out of 8 episodes of the season. The queen that I had predicted as the winner due to her strong start in the season is actually the weakest of the top 4. Viñas sits at 31 points with a mini challenge win helping her score. I won't be surprised if she does win the season, but we'll talk about that later. Next, with the same score but without mini challenge wins helping her, it's Arizona Brandy. In the second place, it's actually Suki Doll. Even if she had been the strongest competitor, she's not winning the season, because any international All-Star Seasons winner comes from the hosting country, except for Canada versus the world, but Raja got that win there because Isis had left the season. The winner of the first category, statistically the strongest queen in the season, is Brigiding. Brigiding's track record is a mix of Jinxes and Biancas. She starts off like Jinx, being very good in the beginning, but getting her first episode win in episode 5. She's like Bianca in that all of her placements are about safe, except for one, where she was safe with a mini challenge win. I kind of spoiled the second criteria's winner here, so who was the most consistent? Since queens each episode earn points, every episode a queen or a couple of queens will have the highest score. Whoever has the highest score the most times wins the criteria. This season we had 3 different queens who were the best, or rather the strongest competitors at one point or another in the season. 2 of them are in the top 4. Who is not in the top 4 was the strongest competitor in 2 episodes, and those episodes are 1 and 2. That person is Kiana. Next, one of the top 4 queens was the strongest competitor in 3 episodes, those being episodes 3, 4, and 6, while the other was the best in episodes 5, 6, 7, and 8. Obviously, you know it's coming. Viñas Deluxe gets the second place here, and Brigiding the first. The third criteria is about who had the best storyline. The thing is, and this is again no disrespect to Suki, even though I would say she has the best storyline in the season, I don't think we should really talk about her much because, again, a Filipina queen is going to win the season. So let's just focus on Arizona, Brigiding, and Viñas. Arizona has been present in the season since its beginning. Out of the Pinay queens, she was present as the narrator of the season since episode 1, rivaling Yua in the confessionals. Now, the thing is, most of the confessionals done in this season were done in English or Tagalog, and for the queens who are not fluent in either language, they naturally were not going to be shown as much as the other ones. So Arizona's presence in the season is more so a technicality. She was a good narrator though, don't get me wrong, but other than that, she didn't really have a storyline, other than the fact that she got a glow up visually. We were teased that she's going to have a mini feud with Brigiding in episode 9, but it's not really coming at a right time. She was also in trouble in 2 episodes of the season, which does make her case a little worse here. While I wouldn't give Arizona the win in this criteria, I would not be surprised if she ends up getting the crown simply because she can easily bridge the gap between international and Filipina queens. This was the season of the redemption of Brigiding. On her original season, she had only 1 above safe placement and no wins. This time around, she has no below safe placements. Even so, she was basically invisible throughout the entire season. Even in episode 8, after Yua's elimination, when Brigiding took on the role of producer's mouthpiece in the workroom, the episode was not about her. It was quite literally about all of the other queens but her. Suki needed a win. Arizona wanted to be noticed for her visuals. Kiana wanted to compete, but she was clearly running on fumes, and V was carrying the burden of needing to do well in episode 8 because on her original season she was eliminated in episode 7. Brigiding in this season was kind of like Chad Michaels on season 4. Consistently great, but the audience is not really invested in her. Or rather, the production does not think the audience should be invested in her, so they don't show her. On top of all of that, the redemption storyline is almost never given to a winner of an all-returnee season. The only queen that got it was Kylie on All-Star 6, but even there, Raja had a stronger glow-up. So you could argue that Kylie did not get that storyline. I would love it if a competition ends up being won by the best competitor, but I would not be surprised if they don't end up crowning Brigiding. Lastly, Viñas. She was probably the second most present Filipina queen in the confessionals after Arizona, but her confessionals were never informative. Quite literally, all of her confessionals are just her saying something, then following that with kidding, and then laughing at her own joke. Well, non-joke. She gives me Alyssa Edwards on All Stars 2 vibes. There's a lot of screen time, a lot of confessionals, but almost none of it drives the story forward. Viñas did have a storyline, like I've said before, but she also did have a bunch of weird moments that I can't tell if the production gave us as a heroic edit or as villainous edit. I'm talking about Viñas's random outbursts of religious fanaticism. The first time it happened, when she revealed Jesus on her dress, it was like, okay, cute gag, haha, you're a gay man in drag and you're talking about Jesus and Christianity, how campy. But then in episode 6, Viñas has a storyline of being completely disgusted by and even afraid of CM, literally accusing her of witchcraft and judging her for it. The thing is, and other than that, Viñas and CM did not have any other storyline in that episode, so it's insane that they would leave that in. And I can't tell if it was to humble Siam, which, like, why would you even do that? Because she ends up getting eliminated, while Viñas is in the top 3, or if it was to show Viñas as a villain punching down. Either way, not a good look for the show or for Viñas, at least from my point of view. So, who wins this criteria? I mean, realistically, again, Suki Doll. She outlasted all other international queens, she held her own against queens that criticized her, she integrated herself into the Pinay sisterhood, and she was a pretty good narrator. However, with all that being said, who should win the season? I think it should be Brigiding. Based on everything we watched, she was the strongest competitor, she was consistently good or great with good performances at good runways throughout the season, and she's also, in general, really likable, while also being very palatable to the casual viewers of Drag Race, or just in general, casual fans of drag. But I wouldn't be surprised if Viñas ends up taking the crown.